There we go.
Are we live on yours? Okay, now I'm up. My computer's slower. Hey, welcome everybody. It's Cindy Telesack and my beautiful sister, Carlin
Carlin
James.
James.
Hey, I'm in Texas and you're in Hawaii. And I've got my little banner up and I am excited. We have been looking forward to today for a long time. We sort of previewed a little bit of what we're going to do last week, but we've spent the last 7 days putting together some materials and getting more and more excited about it. How's it look on your end, Carlin?
I am looking for, I'm just checking Facebook to make sure my page is live, but hello everybody. You know, we are doing the tech thing. We are trying to simulcast these two lives, one on the Carlin James page and one on the, is it the Eloquent Lay
Reader? Mm-hmm.
Elegant Lay Reader? I don't know.
Yeah, could be that too. Could totally be that as well. So let us know if you're watching. Each of us can see the comments on our own page, and we'd love to welcome you. We're also going to be talking about a lot of things that we really want some feedback on. So be ready to, hey, there's my friend John.
Yeah, if you're watching, please speak out because we're going to have two tribes coming together here. You guys won't be able to see each other, but I can see I got 3 people on, but I don't know who you are. So please don't be a lurker.
That's right. That's right.
We are tribe here. Come back. Come back.
Well, I've already heard from Vancouver, Canada. So thrilled to have John with us, and we're very excited. As you can see, we are all about Advent right now and preparing for Advent. Is that redundancy? Since Advent's kind of preparation.
We're fixing to get ready, I think.
That's what we do in Texas. We're fixing to do stuff. So what we've spent, Joellen.
Hey, I got Sister Lisa on. Haha.
Oh, good for you. So, Joellen, you may not lurk. You are public now. So thank you for joining us. Trish, oh my gosh, up in the Northeast. How's the weather up there, Trish? This is really super fun. I'm going to try to keep my peripheral vision watching for folks chiming in.
Yeah, me too. We're still trying to figure this. I feel like I'm spinning plates, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we'll get this together.
When you are your own producer, you stay pretty busy.
Well, we're all about the budget, so
isn't that
very fun. Well, maybe we should just start diving right into what we're going to do today. We're out a couple weeks before Advent, but you know, I think part of our whole premise is that we don't want to just wake up the first Sunday at Advent and go, oh my gosh, where is that wreath? Where's the candles? Oh gosh, how many colors do I have to have and all of that stuff? We really want to take some time to plan this holiday so that we're not frantic and that we're really, we've named this Essential Advent so that we're really doing the essential things that we want to do because there's just too many choices in this world. Hey, Winnie, good to see you from New Jersey. Love to have you on.
Excellent. Yeah, what we wanted to do was boil it down. So when we were thinking about what to even call it, the important thing to us was let's get to the essentials. The main thing Carlin and I both agree on is that we do not want to make a new program that you have to do. We don't want to lay on you any more burden than makes it joyful. We are not about law. We're about gospel. We're about freedom and grace and taking good care of you. And so, this is really about walking you through a lot of stuff that's gone on in your life and helping you pick out what's important, what is meaningful to you, and what is a burden. Chuck it. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely. 2020 has been an unusual year, right? Understatement, Captain Obvious. And a lot of the things that I know that I'm used to doing are just canceled this year. So there's going to be that vacuum of time, perhaps. And so I want to make sure that I don't just lose it. When I don't know about you, but when I went into this quarantine, I thought, oh, I'm going to learn those 8 languages I've been wanting to learn. And I'm going to, write that book and all this stuff. And then I find myself at the end of the day, I've been scrolling, or I've been just watching Netflix or whatever. And a lot of that is just some intense self-care that we're all kind of walking through. But I really don't want that to happen on the holiday. I want to be more intentional about it. And intentional is a well-used word these days, but we have an opportunity, and I want to take time and maybe share in the community that we can really curate what we're doing this holiday season.
Right, right. And I think you and I have kind of boiled down to 2 main pillars. There are other peripheral things that are fun and cool, but 2 main things that we definitely want to make sure that are stirred into our preparations and our celebration is study and prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of majoring in the study part. Carlin is definitely majoring in the prayer part. But what we find is there's a lot of overlap. They're really, neither of them can exist without the other.
Mm-hmm.
But just coming down with some basic, and honestly, to be totally honest, the most important thing to me in all this is company, is not doing it alone. I am more likely to show up and do what I know is good for me if I know I'm not by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that we're all going to be in this together is one of the biggest things, knowing we needed to have our materials ready for you guys today, and knowing we're going to have materials ready for you every week, that keeps me showing up. I'm just going to admit it. I am fallen and broken, so this helps me, and whatever little crutches help, it all works.
Absolutely. And when it comes down to the essential, it really is communication. It's connection with God. And really that's what the scripture and the prayer is, right? It's 2-way communication that way. It's not just, I think one of the things that Cindy and I've been talking about is when we focus just on one of those, it's real easy to go down rabbit holes and get into, I forget the verbiage that you use, Cindy, but fall into the ditch of extremism, I believe we said. And we don't want to do that either. So I think really when the study and the prayer go hand in hand,
mm-hmm.
that keeps us in the balance of the richness of the communication with God.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to solicit a little bit of feedback. Everybody's so good about chiming in. What are some of the frustrations that you've had as you approached the holidays? Does it come up on you too fast? Are there too many options? Like I said, we've been working on these materials for about a week, but the more I look at it, the more I keep thinking of more and more things. And so I know we haven't thought of everything. And as we move forward, we want to continue to develop this with you guys in mind. So if you had to answer, so Kim says expectations. Holy cow. Kim, that is perfect. And they can be expectations we have of ourselves or expectations that we have of others. If you have anything particular you want to share, that'd be great, but don't feel like you have to. I think I shared last week that some of the expectations that Carlin and I both bring to this thing is that our grandmother and our mom were so good at setting a high bar, like for decorations and gift giving and cooking and all the external things. There were really high expectations that were pretty much impossible to look. Okay, Trish says too much stuff and not enough time. My husband is a pastor. Need to move our Advent from Sunday to another day. It's so true. When church is your job, that is really hard.
Yeah. And I would think that's kind of my story as I grew up. Another example of our parents is that when the doors were open, we were there because we opened them and we shut them.
Yes.
So totally relate to that. And so how do we carve out those boundaries that keep us ministering as God has called us to do, and yet be ministered to by the Lord with ourselves, right?
Exactly. Kim says her mom was Mrs. Christmas. So you totally get it, Kim. You understand what we're coming from. And we need permission to make it our own. Look like you're reading me.
Yep, Kathy. Prisoner of hope here. Absolutely. That's what we want to be.
John says, intentionally hearing God's voice in all our circumstances. Yeah, I think that speaks to our new COVID thing too. We're totally going to have to redesign it. Like you said, Carla, nothing is going to be the same.
Right.
And if we have
an opportunity, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
To relook at it.
Yeah, we get to pick what's important when we can't get together in huge groups, or depending on what state you live on.
This is a way that we can connect, and the opportunity here is that we're not bound by borders or time. You know, it's 8 a.m. here. It's noon where Cindy is. Who knows what time it is where you are, but maybe somewhere in between. But that's the benefit of technology. So we're going to try to keep taking advantage of that, because community is part of our makeup.
Yeah.
And we are the body of Christ.
Yeah, we're wired for this for sure. Yeah, Carlin, I'm going to take my little banner down now.
I know. Sorry. Those of you on my stream can't see, but there's a little icon here that I'm playing with.
It's gone now. It's just you and me. It's just you and me. I got to go back to my comments, though. There we go. Oh, John says it's 10 a.m. in Vancouver.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's like between us.
No, Winnie, you're in New Jersey, so that's East Coast, and then Kathy, you're Pacific. So I think we've got everything covered here.
Yeah. Our friends in Europe are probably having dinner. So
yeah, they may see it on the recording, and that's good too. So if you are seeing this on a recording for some reason, you can still chime in, because we'll see those comments. You know, that we'll get notified that you've chimed in, and I'd love to see that too. So
yeah. And your opinion counts, and we will be doing some crafting. The rest of this isn't set in stone. We've definitely got a path laid out, but it's not set in stone. And so we want to take your feedback into consideration for sure.
Yeah. Why don't we jump right into this PDF? Is that where we're going here?
Yeah.
Because we have materials to put in your hands.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to bring that up right now.
We're going to share our little screens here. I think I will do a Chrome tab. We'll see how this works. All right. Thumbs up if you're with me.
Yep. I'm seeing mine. I've got mine up. This is a PDF, and on some of my pages, I put a link so that you can grab it. I was going to check the page and see if I got the link everywhere it needs to be.
Let's see here. I'm still fiddling a little bit. I got to take my banner off. This is all this stuff is so new to me.
John gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, John. If for some reason you need the link to the PDF and you haven't found it where I have put it like an Easter egg, I will definitely add it.
Mine is not big. I still have a background on mine. Is there a way to just nix the background?
Good question. No link. Yeah, sorry, John. Again,
this is why we're doing preview weeks, so that when we really get into it, we'll have learned this technology a little better.
I'm going to try something. I'm going to try something, John. I'm going to try to put it in. Found it. Trish found it earlier and saved it. Brilliant. All right, you guys, see if that link will work. I don't know if it will. That may only work for me. You know how Google is and their docs? It's kind of strange. If that doesn't work, I'll put it in the comments after the fact. And in the meantime, just follow along with me on the screen, because we're going to scroll through it.
I am still working to make this PDF a little bit bigger for you guys. Maybe.
Yeah, Joellen says it's not working. I'm sorry, Joellen. Watch the screen, and I will link it for sure right after this in the comments. And
yeah, or it might be easier to put it onto the Facebook platform group.
Hey, are you guys in enough groups that you're just grouped out, or would you be interested in a dedicated group for this study? That might be a great way to park comments, links, resources. It's a thought. It's a thought. Okay, you saw it on the page and now you can't find it. Oh, Trish, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got mine a little bigger, but I haven't even started to put the link in yet. So for my folks, we will get there when we get there.
John says he'd like a dedicated group. That is not a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So chime in, folks, from my side. If we could have one group, which would be a nice place to bring everybody together.
And then if we get wicked smart, we can maybe just live stream this to the one group. We'll see.
Okay. All right. I've put in on my drive or on my comments the Google Drive document. So this, of course, is not the whole document you're going to get. This is our preview introductory information. Because we're still fixing to get ready, right? We're ramping up to Advent, and we want to do this mindfully with some forethought. So in this PDF, you'll see this is a workbook. This is not just a read along. This is an interactive. Well, you will print it if you want, and you can write as much or as little as you want. And I think our thinking overall is just shop this PDF. Print the pages you want, leave the things that don't seem to thrill you. Totally fine. Because we're trying to help you find the essentials. What may be essential to you is not essential to the next person. So this is really the grocery store. And when you go to the grocery store, you don't have to put everything in your cart. You only take what you need. So please approach this guide the same way.
Yeah, I'm slowly scrolling through because I think what I want to do is just sort of give everybody like a 30,000 foot view of kind of
that too.
What is in here. As you can see, a lot of the first few pages are mainly some background and some context of where we're coming from. And then we start to get into some options for you thinking it through. Carlin, I'm on the memories page, the first memories page right now. So this is where you start filling things in. This is where you start to bring your experience to the project.
We're going to be talking more next week about memories, and we are working on getting the third Beardsley sister in here to share memories. Either if we can't get her live, maybe we can get her on recording to share her perspective of our growing up, because three siblings can have a completely different experience, even though they were in the same house. So I think it'd be super fun if we could get Lisa in here to chime in on these memories.
Have you got your PDF going?
I got it. I'm with you. I think I'm on the memories page. So
I've moved on to the Christmas essentials.
Okay, here we go.
This is a fun exercise, I think. And again, you can spend as much or as little time on it as you want. The PDF looks like those aren't complete boxes, but if you print it out, they actually are.
Yeah.
This is not an interactive PDF. If you want to write on it, unfortunately, you will have to print it out. I've seen those kinds of PDFs that you can write on, but they make me a little nuts. I don't quite understand it.
There's sometimes you can have too much technology. I find that it's always great to come back to some paper and pen every once in a while.
Yeah.
Back to, again, the essentials.
Yeah. And of course, you can't talk. I'm still scrolling, Carlin.
I'm there. Yep.
You can't talk about Advent without talking about Advent wreath. So I can't anyway. But again, this is either a meaningful, fun thing for you, or it's a burden. So again, decide what you want to do. If you have a little Martha Stewart moment and you want to make a wreath, or you have made a wreath, that's awesome.
And they don't
Um,
have to look like this.
no.
They can look
In
like what
fact,
you like.
my current arrangement, because they always fall apart or get torn up as much as I try to save them, I have 4 purple little votive candles. I have a string of silk garland that I just lay in a circle.
Yeah.
And then I've got a big white candle I sit in the middle. So it's not even assembled. It's not even glued. There's no hot glue in sight.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty ghetto, but it works.
Well, and maybe I'll bring it out next week. I haven't dug it up yet, but the Advent kind of a wreath that I have is actually a coil of wood that I purchased from the gal who wrote 1,000 Gifts, Anne Voskamp.
Yes.
Her son got industrious a few years ago and made these beautiful candles fit in the top, and you count the days from the outside to the end in a coil, and it's got a beautiful little carved Mary riding a donkey, and you move the donkey a little closer. It's really fun. And so for me, that's my Advent wreath. So it looks
That's
nothing
cool.
like this, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. Anybody else, are Advent wreaths important in your tradition or in your own personal history? Um, I did a little research because, we always got little handouts with prayers that you would say and we lit them the night of the Sunday, or light them throughout the week. They came with prayers, but what I realized is there's no set prayer. It's not like something that's in the prayer book. It's not in the Book of Common Prayer. So you know what I did? I wrote my own.
yes.
So
Here's where the two of our perspectives really shift. You stayed in the liturgical, and I've been moving out of that. So that's something that I've discovered too. It's like,
it all works. And what it what it I did was I actually started reading the scriptures and trying to make the prayer focus on the themes of the week's lectionary readings. So it was another way to encourage me to get into the word. So let's see. Kim says, good idea. Mine always get beat up in storage. I have the Ann Voskamp wooden one, but nowhere to put it. Boy,
it is kind of big. It is kind of big.
Kim, you and I probably live in the same house. My house is so little. That's another one of my deals is I'm always having to pare down because my house is so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And Trish says, always did them as a kid. Yeah, they can be very important in our sort of rhythm of the year. This is how I know what time of year it is I go through these rituals, and it's
count the days.
Yeah,
Count the days.
Can be very helpful. So I like them, but again, the prayers are very short. To get my family, I have a 25-year-old daughter and a husband, and everybody's doing their own thing. To get everybody together for anything is challenging. So this responsive prayer literally will take you a minute, and you can stir it in any way you want, before a meal, after a meal, before you go to bed. I don't, do your.
And again, it's going to the essentials, right? It's not essential that we spend a half an hour at this. That's the length of time is not the essential. The essential is the connection with the Lord.
Right.
And so if that takes you 5 minutes, great. If it takes you 3 hours, well, maybe you should do that, but only you know what that is. So again, we're paring down to whatever is the essential. And
exactly,
and it's that connection.
All right, I'm scrolling now to our first calendar page. So again, I'm a calendar person. I'm a planner. It helps me feel peaceful if I know things are written down. So we have 3 calendar pages for you: November, December, and even January. And just for grins, we have already filled out priorities for November, and you can, of course, scritch these out and write your own.
This is just to get you started.
Yeah, we wanted you to think, what can you put aside? What can you keep? And what would you like to add to your celebration? There's an empty box in the top of the page. Again, use that for whatever you like. And then the only thing we've added in the calendar boxes themselves, the days, are just some major landmarks. This it's not this coming. Yeah, it is. This coming Sunday, the 22nd, in our tradition is called Christ the King Sunday. And it is a transition from that long season of Pentecost into Advent. And then, of course, on the 29th is the first Sunday of Advent. And again, just for a placeholder, we put Thanksgiving, so you know kind of how that fits in the landscape.
Again, my boxes aren't showing. They'll show when you print.
That's true. Yeah. Mine
PDFs
are
are finicky.
crazy. I don't know why. It's working. So then we move on to December, and then here are the Sundays of Advent, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and when we will be doing our official Facebook Lives. And then January, because as we all know, Christmas goes for 12 days, right? It doesn't end until the 6th of January, which is the Feast of the Epiphany. So there's a January calendar for you, right? Whatever you want into it. Oh, and here's one of my favorite little resource pages for you is about gifts, Christmas gifts. We can freak out. Some people are the type who can't even think about it until Christmas Eve, and then they go crazy the last minute. I was sort of trained to start early because most of our family lives far flung. And so if you were going to get it to them before Christmas, you had to start early to be able to get it in the mail. Is that how did you usually approach it, Carlin?
You know, being in Hawaii, we know that not only are everybody far, but it takes long to get, and I have to really watch those postal dates.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I mean, we've always just had kind of a meager approach to Christmas. And so we just try to let people know that they're remembered. And I gave up stressing a long time ago just because I felt like my resources were a little bit more limited and it was out of my control. So, you know, there's that.
When you don't have a lot of money to spend, you get more creative. And I think if you, especially if you give yourself time to think, you can actually come up with something way more thoughtful, way more memorable than if you had a little bit of time and a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then you just throw money at it. And so anyway, the idea here is don't stress. If it helps you to write things down and deal with it that way, great. If not, again, move along. Don't feel compelled. And then each of us, we started to write one resource list, and we realized that each of us had too long of a list. So Carlin and I have each included a page of books or websites or other kinds of things that maybe in our Facebook group we could talk about in more detail, but otherwise they're just suggestions, things that you might be interested in.
Things that we found helpful to help us pare down to the essentials, things that make this season rich for us.
Mm-hmm. And so for this week, that's it. That is, whoops, I'm getting a little bit crazy here. There we go.
All right, I'm going to stop the share here. That's it. You can download it and take as long as you want to look at it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. At your leisure. There we go. There we go. There we are. We're back to two talking heads. So, that's what we have this week is just some materials to get you started, to get you thinking, get the juices flowing. Think about what's important to you, what's not important, a little preview of what's coming. But every week we'll have another, 4, 5, 6 pages of goodies for you to work through. Oh, here's the other big question. Remember this, Carlin. We need to help deciding because we could argue for this either way. We're trying to decide if it would be more helpful to release the week's readings, activities, prayer practice, extra resources before the Sunday where you get the lectionary, or after. Would you like to hear the scriptures in church? If you do that, if that's your kind of church. and then take the week afterwards to mull over them and chew on them, or would you like to prep them? If you have a strong opinion about that, let us know, because like I said, I honestly, my husband said he would prefer to get it before. But you know, again, it's totally individual. As we did discuss, even if you wanted it after and we released it before, you can always hang on to it until you're ready.
Here's a before vote,
A
Kathy.
before vote? All right.
Yeah, the thought is that the scriptures are meant for the Sundays, right? Advent 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so either you come to that Advent Sunday already having steeped in the scripture all week, or you hear it for the first time and mull it all that next week. And really, it's potato, right?
Yeah.
The idea is that we're mulling the scripture for a week, and you'll get that.
Exactly.
So it's just a matter of, when you come to Sunday, do you want it to be a fresh first time hearing if your church is in that liturgical plan, or do you want to come to that Sunday going, oh yes, this is what it meant to me this week?
Right.
Both have equal merit.
I have one vote for after, and then I've got a vote for either.
Good. So that helps like not.
Yeah.
No. So what we'll probably do is we'll make it available. And if you are in the before persuasion, there you go. If you're in the after persuasion, you'll have it for next week. So I think that's the way to make sure that everybody is curating their own Advent, right?
I see that, John. I see that, John. Thank you for that too. So it just seems like people are either or. I mean, there's some before, some after. So yeah, if we make it available, you just either don't download it or download it and put it away until you're ready for it. And then we'll make everybody happy. Can you imagine a world where we make everybody happy? That's insane. No, I don't recommend trying to manage that.
That's not the goal.
No.
You guys can figure that out. You're perfectly capable.
Exactly. So and we will also, Trish says they don't follow the lectionary, and so the readings will be nice. It's great. We're going to have them for you. And again, I'm really liking the Facebook group idea, because then we could just keep posting this stuff and it'll be available. Everybody will be able to access it. We might even be able to link other helpful videos. We'd
love to see your input, and that's a great place for you to,
share.
Snap a picture of what you've got for Advent. Do you have an arrangement of candles? Where is it in your house? And as we get closer to Christmas, we can share those fun traditions.
Show us your Advent calendar.
What's your cookie recipes?
Why not?
Is that part of your essential preparations?
Yeah. And there are things, I was thinking about this driving around. I understand there's going to be some places with beautiful light displays that you can drive through. Nice. That will still be available even in COVID, because it won't be groups of people gathering. So there are still going to be kinds of fun holiday-y things to do.
That's actually one of my favorite Advent practices, is just beginning to watch for the lights. And it's such a great metaphor of Advent, the light is coming, and and it starts to spring up all over town.
Well, and as you and I talked about the other day, Carlin, I'm already seeing lights on people's houses lit up, and it's not even Thanksgiving. And sometimes there are early birds, but I think maybe some people are just tired and weary and needing, we need a little Christmas right this very minute.
That's right.
We are worn out, and it's time for the holidays, and they can't get here soon enough. But, as Christ followers, we know where the deep water is. This isn't just surface shellac paint over the top.
Right.
We're gonna dig to the depths. Mm-hmm. So very excited to hear about that. Well, what do you think, Carlin? I
Yeah,
think we.
that's what we for sure wanted to be covering.
Does anybody have any questions? We don't want this to go too long. I don't want this to take up your day. I want you to be able to just check in, get what you need, and get on with your life. Again, we don't want to add burden. But if you have any questions that anybody else might have, we just feel free to share. You won't be getting a grade. You'll be happy to know. You grade your experience, and please grade yourself with a lot of grace. We're going to be harping on that this is not about living up to anybody's expectations. This is about
this is taking the best of the old and bringing it into the new.
Yeah.
Which are the prayer practices that we'll do, and the lectionary, of course, the scriptures people have been reading since well before, because we'll have prophecy of the Messiah. And
oh, great, Trish was just able to print it off. Absolutely.
Yay.
Good job. Yeah, every week we'll give you the scriptures. We're going to give you some guidance on how to study them, some guidance on some ways to pray, some ways that have come to us through antiquity, and then some just peripheral things that are cool and fun. Yeah.
And if any of the prayer practices are not for you, again, move along.
Yeah.
We are so individual, and the Lord speaks to us individually, and as we are bent, and that's why there's so many practices. That's why there's so many ways to approach God. If you don't want to do a particular prayer practice, then just go take a walk outside or do something creative. Just try to get, I guess it's the balance of the paper and pen, the scripture, the prayer practice is just an alternative to that. So anything that is speaking to you, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's movement, it's the connection with the Lord that is the point, the essential.
Good. Well, John says, I wanted to get his comment in there. He says, a new way for a new day.
Absolutely.
Man,
it's always a new day. Every day is a new day.
And Trish says, thanks for this. Advent is very important to me. Man, me too, Trish. Absolutely. Otherwise, just Christmas hits us and we have not taken time to be there yet. So very, very cool.
We'll talk more about that next week. And next week, the PDF, if for those of you who are the before people, the next week recording or the download will include the first week.
Yep. And I think what we can spend the time talking about, Carlin, is mainly just the study practices and the prayer practices. And if people are interested in getting going on that, they can look at the PDF or they can hold off, either one.
Yeah, because the first week does, at least for the prayer practice, if you are interested in participating in the Anglican prayer beads, it gives you a chance. If you'd like to make a set, you can take the time to do that. And again, if beads are not your cup of tea, no worries. Absolutely no worries.
That's right. I understand, even as an Anglican, that things that smack a little bit of a Catholic thing, and for all my Catholic friends, I love you. But that wasn't the way I was raised. And so, we were always a little bit. And then my friend John has also floated out a really important concept. And that is, in some traditions, it can tend to relate to some more pagan kind of ideas and some non-Christian ideas. And so we don't want to trouble anyone's conscience. So please don't do anything that is out of your sense of propriety. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if you can look at something fresh and go, you know what, this is not really out of the ballpark, and if you're interested in looking into it more, that'd be great. We can definitely talk about it. Again, no rules. So no right or wrong.
Only Christ.
Solo Christo. I just learned that one.
Ooh.
In Christ alone. That's great. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes, you guys. So we don't want to take up your day. We want to kind of limit this so that you don't worry about missing stuff or having to sit still too long. If you're on your
we'll figure out a way to get a joint group. We might have to. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out. And so we'll invite everybody in there.
Oh, great. Jo Ellen says she has never been part of a liturgical Christian community, but love the preparation plan. That's really what it's all about. Thank you, Jo Ellen. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody's welcome. And this is just Jesus. So no rules. Oh, you got some sunshine coming in.
It's early.
Still very early in the morning there.
That's right, 8:40.
And Kim is new to liturgical too. Fantastic. Wow.
Yay. Our sister Lisa says she loves seeing us.
Yay.
We're going to get you on here. If you can finagle it in any way, that would be so fun to get you on here too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a 3-way conversation. That'd be great.
The Beardsley sisters, who are not Beardsleys anymore, any of us, but we'll always be Beardsleys.
That's right. That's right. Cool. Well, I guess if that's it, I'm gonna say goodbye to our friends live on Facebook and look forward to seeing you again next week. You can, like I said, download what you've got. There's plenty of stuff to think about between now and next Monday. So work on that if it makes you happy.
And if it makes you happy. If it stresses you, don't bother. That's the main message. Only keep the essential the essential.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, God bless and have a fabulous week. We'll see you next week.
Aloha.